Welcome to another insightful episode of Amazing Marketer, where we deep dive into the world of e-commerce and uncover strategies for success. Today, we are joined by Speian from Sellerboard, who will reveal the critical 5 profit killers that can make or break your Amazon business. If you are an Amazon seller looking to maximize your profits and avoid common pitfalls, this episode is your ultimate guide to understanding the hidden challenges in the e-commerce landscape. My name is Saurabh. You are watching Amazing Marketer. Let's learn something new today. So, hi Alex, welcome to Amazing Marketer. It's great to have you on board today. And before starting this amazing journey, I would like to know a brief about you and what you are going to educate us today. So, please go ahead.
Sure. Hello, Sarab. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. I'm glad to be here at Amazing Marketer. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about profitability because I'm the knowledge and marketing specialist at Sellerboard. And Sellerboard is a profit analytics software. Basically, this is what we do. This is what we focus on. Try to help sellers really understand their profitability, their numbers, whether they are making a profit at the end of the day or not, and we provide the tools necessary for that. And today I'm going to try to highlight several important factors that influence your profitability as a seller and what you can do to individually look at them, analyze them, and maybe do something about it. And then how Sellerboard can help you do that in a more efficient way.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So, without any further ado, I'm super excited. Let's get started.
All right. Thank you. So we're going to be talking about something we call the five profit killers and how you should avoid them. So with doing sales and increasing numbers, because usually what happens is sellers start selling, on Amazon, they get their first numbers, they get really excited about it, but at some point it's becoming overwhelming to really understand and do the math in spreadsheets and stuff like that. But the question is there. So how much profit do you make with every product sold? If you have the answer to that question, then that's great. And Sellerboard does exactly that. So when you're thinking about the profit that you're making, there are several questions also that you should ask yourself. So are you taking into account important factors like, different storage fees, the cost of inbound shipment, the fluctuations in prices, the activity of the competitors, and with the new prices, are you still competitive or not? Are you still making a profit? When you receive new batches of products and their cost of goods change, maybe they rise, right? Because everything becomes more and more costly. So are you still profitable with those factors? What about the returns? Or the products that were returned to the warehouse, are they in sellable condition or not? And if not, then obviously that becomes a loss. And with that loss, are you still profitable for that period or not? So all of these important things, and not only these, should be taken into account when considering profitability. So if you want to be really accurate about your profitability at the end of the day, then you should analyze and try to factor in some important things. The first one are the underperforming products. So what we strongly suggest is regularly analyzing your underperforming products. And to do that, so first of all, you need to pull together a profit and loss report or P&L report, because it's one of the 3 main reports that every business needs. So the first one is the P&L report. The second is a report that shows you the cash flow, that how the money goes in and out your business. And 3, obviously, is the balance sheet that shows you that all of the assets that are there inside the business. Today, we are talking about specifically the P&L report, or in different forms, how it might look for you as the seller. So as I mentioned, analyzing underperforming products would be the first and most important step that you should take when analyzing your profitability. And to do that, I would suggest pulling together SKU profitability table, which you can do by yourself. And I have the steps how you can do that presented on the screen. If you want, you can take a screenshots of this and maybe do some screenshots through the presentation as well. So what you would need is a compile a table where you would see on an SKU level or on an ASIN level, factors like number of units sold, your sales, your cost of goods, your refunds, your Amazon fees, your advertising costs, and your gross profit at the end of the day. So that will help you really understand the profitability of each SKU. And then when you know that, you can make some decisions. I'm going to show you exactly what those can be. To pull together such a spreadsheet, you would need the unit sold, COGS, refunds, Amazon fees, and tacos. And you have here on the screen, so the sources where you can pull this data from. Most of this data is available in your Seller Central account, but obviously the cost of goods you will have to pull from your other sources. And the methods that you will be using, the techniques, are basically two main methods. You will have to compile a pivot table and use the VLOOKUP function. So that way you can cross-check the data and then work with it. So let's take a closer look at the table that we have in front of us. So first of all, when you will compile this table, you will need to analyze each factor that you can influence, because obviously there are things that you cannot influence, and then there are some things that you can try to influence if you want to change the situation. So let's start with the latest column, because I'm mostly interested in profit, right? So the last column over here, the gross profit, I have it in value and I have it in margin. So it's the percentage here, right? And I'm looking at 4 products here that one of them has a negative margin. This is really bad because I'm losing money with every sale with this product. And then I have 2 other products that are kind of in the middle. And then one product that really is performing really nice. I have a 32% of margin that is quite well. So what I would do right off the bat, the first product I would try to protect in a way. So make sure I have enough stock for it. Make sure I don't have any other factors that would put it out of, out of the market. So for the rest two of these in the middle, I'm looking at, let's check the columns one by one. So I have the refund situation here in value and in percentage. And immediately I see that for the second product, I have a 10% for refunds, which is not really crucial because, I mean, it happens, refunds are a normal thing, but everything that goes up above 10% and up should be, paid attention to. So over here, I want to think about, can I influence the refund situation for the second product? Maybe I can do it. If not, okay, then it's not something that I can influence. Then I will work with the COGS. So I can try and negotiate if this COGS for me is too high. So I have the third and the fourth product, which have a 36 and 39% for COGS. And this is really high. So maybe I can try and negotiate to lower this. Then I have some Amazon fees that for the second product are really high. So it's 37% in comparison to all of the other values. I can look into the situation and see maybe I can avoid some of these fees. Maybe I'm overpaying in fees, right? And the last thing I can do here is take a look at my advertising costs. So 27% advertising costs is the highest in between all of these 4 products. So if the first and the third product are really, performing good at 11 and 15% value, then maybe I have potential to reduce the total advertising cost for the fourth product as well. So as you can see, we have some things that we can try and influence, but first we need to spot them. So in order to see these factors, we need to have this table put together and analyze it. So when you see these problem, situation or weak spots, then you need to decide whether you want to retain, refine, or remove the products altogether. So the first product that is performing really well, I will want to retain it. So assure a healthy stock level and maybe monitor, obviously, the listings and the competitors' activity. So I would be looking very close at this ASIN and making sure it's steadily selling. Then with the second 2 products, there are some things that I can try to refine, right? So maybe reduce the return rate, negotiate a better COGS, optimize the advertising costs, maybe avoid some fees, and maybe even adjust the price if necessary. And for the third product, if I will not be able to do anything about it, if I will not be able to refine it, then maybe I should remove it altogether. So then I will be looking at selling it through, liquidating it, or probably that would be my options. And then another question would arise. If I'm going to sell it through, how much would it cost me? And if I'm going to liquidate it, how much would it cost me, obviously? So there are some decisions to be made here. But the first step is always putting the data together and paying close attention to what the numbers show. All right, let's move on to the second profit killer, which are the excessive fees and the hidden costs that you need to take into account and maybe try to avoid. So first of all, there are some fees that you can obviously, influence whether you will be hit with these fees or not. And in 2024, we've seen some activity in area of the aged inventory fee, which was increased in 2024. Then we have the new fee that was introduced in 24, which is the low inventory fee, the inbound placement fee introduced in 24, and the return processing fees was introduced in 24. So these are just several of the new fees that were introduced, but they are obviously, to be worked with, because you can try and avoid paying these fees. So the aged inventory fee, how you can toggle that? You can use the inventory age and excess dashboard that Amazon rolled out for all users of Seller Central. This is the link right here. You can access it and take a look at it. So basically what it does, it shows you the age of your ASINs and when exactly will they reach a point where you will start overpaying in these fees. Then you have the low inventory fee. If you have stock below the mark, I think, of 30 days of historic sales, then you will be, or 28 days, pardon, of historic sales, then you will be hit with this fee. So you need to assure that you have just enough stock to maintain a healthy stock level. Right. Then for the inbound placement fee, this one is a tough one because there's a lot of discussion on how to try to work with it. We don't have like a really solution, on our side, a solution that would work immediately. But the logic here would be to pack your shipments in a way that would make it easier for Amazon to distribute your shipments through the distribution centers. I would suggest also doing a research on how you can work with that placement fee. Then the return processing fee. So this fee is applied to products that have a higher return ratio than a threshold that was set by Amazon. So if you have products that are really returned very frequently, then you will be hit with this fee for every return that you have for this specific product. So I will be talking about it in a second. I'm just pointing out the fact that there are fees that you can try to avoid. I need to be looking at that. And then there are hidden costs that you at least need to take into consideration when doing profitability analysis. So are you working with external services, or do you have hired talent? Obviously, you pay for that. Do you have software subscription like Sellerboard or other software? That needs to be taken into account as well. Are you educating yourself? Do you have a mentor? Maybe you're paying for that, right? Are you paying rent for a warehouse or an office? And maybe if you're doing, arbitrage, or you're doing FBM, then maybe you're also using some materials for, boxing, prepping and stuff like that, preparing the orders basically. So all of that needs to be taken into account as well. Moving on. Returns are another profit killer. So you need to, first of all, understand the refund cost structure. Over here, I have like an infographic that shows you the difference between how is on the left, how your price decomposed into elements, right? So you have the green line, the vertical line here, and this is what the customer paid for the order, and it decomposes into profit, cost of goods, of the product, your FBA fees that you pay, referral fee, and potentially maybe a shipping charge back that's there. And on the right is what happens when a customer returns a product. So let's take a closer look. You have things that are returned by Amazon, basically refunded by Amazon each time a refund is requested by the customer. So the shipping charge back is refunded. Referral fee is refunded. Your cost of goods can only be considered refunded if the item is returned in sellable condition, because otherwise it would be definitely a loss. Then your FBA fee is not refunded. Your lost profit is obviously not refunded. And then on top of that, you have a refund administration fee, which is a must. So it's like non-conditional. You will be always hit with the refund administration fee. So these top three factors is your minimal loss, but it can get bigger. So imagine if your item is returned in unsellable condition, and then imagine if your return ratio for this product is high, then additionally you will be charged with the returns processing fee. And if the item is returned in unsellable condition, not only do you lose your cost of goods sold for the product, but also you will be charged with a removal fee because you need to get rid of the product from the warehouse, right? Okay. So all of this adds up to a big loss. You need to understand this from the very beginning when just thinking about refunds. This is important. Then let's gradually move on. So there are some return specific fees, like the refund administration fee, which is 20% of the FBA fee, or $5, which is less. Then the returns processing fee starts at 1.78 for the smallest product category. And this is conditional depending on the threshold of or the return ratio of the product, and then the removal fee. So I have these numbers here so you can get a good understanding that these fees are really a lot. So you need to take that into account. Then for the new fee, which is the return processing fee, there's, by the way, a link up here. Maybe if you want, you can also take a screenshot. You have detailed information regarding the return rate thresholds. So there are categories for all of the products sold on Amazon, and depending on the product category of your products that you're selling, you will have different thresholds set by Amazon, right? So whenever the return ratio of that product of yours rises above the level set by Amazon, you'll start paying for every return of that product. And then there's also a rate card for about how much, so how big that fee will be for every return. And you can also access it by accessing this link on the screen. All right. Then when you kind of understand the refund cost structure and the fees that are linked to refunds, the next thing you need to do is analyze the products with highest return rates. And luckily, Amazon rolled out a dashboard for that, which you can also access by accessing sellercentral.amazon.com/FBA/returns. And the tool will be available for you, which will show you your situation with refunds and return ratios on an account level, with the ability to break down to an ASIN level. So kind of take a look at which products have which return ratios at the moment, and what is the exact threshold for that product category or where the product stays. So yeah, you can use that tool. And then the next thing, how you can tackle FBA returns. There are no magic pills. Obviously, you need to, first of all, look into sourcing quality products. Then you need to look into communicating the right information about your products so the customer's expectations are met with the information you present on the listings, with the images that you have on the listings, with colors, sizes, descriptions, features, and everything. Whenever the customer receives the product, his expectations might be met, right? So try not to over advertise the product, say something about it that it doesn't do, or don't over promise. And then again, whenever you have feedback from the customers, customers reach out to you with questions, try to respond to those requests in a timely manner to avoid additional returns. So that helps also. All right, so another profit killer that I want to talk about are the FBA errors. And there are different cases. The first one would be the lost and damaged inventory by Amazon. That happens because obviously, there are also, besides robots, people work too there. So that's why errors happen. It's all right, but you need to kind of get reimbursed for that. So you can try and do it yourself. And you have like a guideline here on which steps you need to follow to generate a report that will show you the cases where the Amazon lost your product, your items, right? So it's called the ledger report, and you can follow these steps in your Amazon Seller Central account to access that report. Then you have other scenarios where you can get reimbursed. Maybe Amazon wrongly placed your products in a different category, or wrongly measured them. So you might have been overpaying in FBA fees. You also want to look at that. And maybe you have errors in inbound shipments. Maybe you've sent a specific number of products in an FBA shipment, but Amazon didn't receive all of those products, and it's on their side. So maybe you also want to look at that. And the last scenario here are the returns that customers didn't send to the warehouse, so they didn't arrive to the warehouse, right? So that's also a case that you need to be looking into, because you might get reimbursed for that as well. All right, so just a quick note, Sellerboard obviously helps you with all of these situations, with these scenarios in a very, very simple way. You can generate reports directly by pressing just a single button, and then you can send them out to Seller Central support. The last profit killer I want to talk about are the silent events in your Amazon business, because there are multiple things that might happen. So some information might change on your listings, and without knowing it, you might be selling, the same product with the listing already changed, and that will create that discrepancy in expectations, and then you will have a lot of returns. So that also happens a lot. then you might have new sellers on the listing, and you probably want to know about that. You might lose the buy box. Also, you might want to know about that. And then if your product dimensions change from Amazon side, if your product category changes from the Amazon side, and the FBA fees for your products change, that's also important. You want to know about that to try and act on time. Maybe, again, you might have reimbursement opportunities, or you want to be notified about feedback that's neutral or negative, so you can respond in a timely manner. Or maybe even get notified about potential stock shortages, so you can act and avoid that as well. So what Sellerboard does, we provide a tool to work with all of these silent profit killers. So you have the alerts feature where you have different kind of scenarios, all of these on screen, and a lot of other scenarios as well, where you can set up notifications and receive them to your email, or maybe use the dashboard, because we have an alerts dashboard where you can go through the notifications like it's a to-do list. All right, so this is the presentation part I wanted to share with you in terms of the profit killers and the problems that we try to solve with Sellerboard. Maybe you have any comments or questions, at this point, and then we can gradually switch to taking a look at Sellerboard itself.
The presentation is awesome, Alex, and thank you so much for sharing such a great insight. Even I learned few more things about how we can increase the profits or minimize our losses. And it would be great if you can share. You have already opened the seller board. It would be great if you can show us how easy it is to tackle all these issues or errors, so that because I am pretty sure if it is on our tips, it is going to save me a lot of time, and that time I can invest in our business to grow it further, right? So that would be really helpful for all the Amazon sellers. So over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Surab. So yes, obviously the main reason why Sellerboard was created is to do just that, to help sellers, first of all, get more time for them to really analyze, on a strategic level, what's happening inside their Amazon business and what needs to be done to increase profitability and to avoid some of the risks that they might run into. So with that being said, having a tool like Sellerboard that will automatically pull the information, have updates like in every 15 minutes. So you have like timely live updates, and you will have all the data there. You will not have the necessity to manually work with all that information. Having a tool like that takes a lot of workload off your shoulders, right, as a seller.
Thanks.
So let's take a quick look. First of all, obviously at the profit dashboard, and what it does, it gives you the option to analyze your situation on an account level, and then gradually go down to a product level and dig into more details. So what you see here on the first screen is the tiles view of the profit dashboard. So these tiles up here give you a view of your main KPIs for different periods, which are customizable. And you can see your sales, your orders, your advertising costs, your gross profit, net profit, your number of refunds for that period. Like for instance, for today, we have 6 refunds. And then when you want to go deeper, you click on more and get a complete breakdown of how exactly your net profit was calculated, right? So all the things that were taken into account are here. Sales divided by organic and sponsored sales. So your advertising sales are separate, so you can understand how well you're performing organically versus with paid advertising. Then you have your advertising costs. It's important to mention here that not only do we connect to your PPC API. So if you're doing PPC advertising on Amazon, we pull all of those advertising costs and attribute to specific orders and products. But also you can connect your external marketing channels if you're doing advertising on different platforms like Google, Meta, TikTok. So we also pull those advertising costs and attribute to specific products as well. Then you have your information regarding shipping costs, all of your information regarding refund costs, your Amazon fees applied to the product sold in this period, your cost of goods of the product sold in this period, and then you will have your gross profit calculated for you. And then the next step to calculate your net profit would be taking into account the expenses that you have, your indirect or overhead expenses, because as I mentioned previously, there are things that you might be missing out. So if you're paying for rent, if you're paying for talent, if you're paying for software, you need to put that into the equation as well. So you can actually have your net profit at the end of the day and really see how much money you are left with, right? So this is what net profit is exactly. As you can see, we have different expenses, actually quite a lot for this period, but this is a demo account. We need to take that into account. Pardon the pun. So yeah, and also other metrics available to you as well, information regarding the sessions and stuff like that. So you have that on an account level. And obviously, you can choose different periods to analyze. You can choose a marketplace that you want to dive into if you're working with several marketplaces. You can even select specific products that you want to analyze separately, or maybe a tag. If you have like grouped by tags, you can analyze like product groups. And then underneath these styles, whenever I have one period selected, like I have the today period selected, I'll have all of the products that were sold in that period. And I'll have detailed information regarding how their net profit was calculated, right? So I'll have the sales, ads, sellable returns, gross profit, net profit. But if I need more information, I can always click here and include additional parameters or KPIs to display on this spreadsheet. It all depends on the type of analysis I'm performing. So if I'm looking at Amazon fees and trying to find the products that had the highest Amazon fees applied to them, right? Then I would probably go ahead and click on Amazon fees and then just sort out the table like this and see which products generated the highest payouts in Amazon fees for this period. Okay, so I see these products right here. Or maybe I'm looking at another metric, maybe I'm analyzing my refund situation, and I will be looking at refund costs and other metrics as well. So it depends what I'm looking at. You have other, this is like a product view, and it's important also to mention the fact that you can actually dial into the profitability analysis on a product level. So if I'm looking at this product specifically that was sold today, I sold 14 units of that product. I might want to click on more here and see exactly how the profitability for this product looks like, right? So how much I paid in Amazon fees for the product, how much I paid for in advertising for the product, and all of the other factors that influenced in that profit. So that is how you go from account to product level. Also, in the profit dashboard, you have different views, like the chart view. If you're analyzing the evolution of specific metrics over time on an account level, this is the best view to do just that. So all you have to do is click on the configuration button right here and see which metric do you want to analyze. So if I'm looking at, for instance, let's say I want to analyze my advertising situation. So I'm looking at advertising costs. I'm looking at net profit that was left at the end of the day. And yeah, so just maybe my real ACOS as well. So then this set of metrics would give me a rough understanding of how my advertising is working for me for the like, what do we have? The period selected right here is from the 1st to 15th of December. So these 2 weeks are looking like this. Then next up is the P&L view. This is frankly my favorite view. So what the P&L view is basically like a giant spreadsheet that has all of the data on an account level that shows you how different areas of your business are performing over time. Now, right now, we have selected the last 12 months by month, and I'm looking at how different areas evolved. So if you're looking at, for instance, let's say Amazon fees, how those evolved, right? So right to left, I'm looking in January at 14,000 and dropping to 8,000 to 7 to 9. I'm analyzing this data on the horizontal. And also I can expand the Amazon fees and look at what fees specifically were applied and in which months. So if I'm saying that, okay, the referral fee is a must, the FBA fulfillment fee is a must, right? So it depends like on how much I've sold there. But then there are additional fees that were applied to me. So for instance, I'm looking at the inbound transportation. Okay, this is here. The lightning deal fees, warehouse damage, and I can even, if I'm seeing these refunds, because these are reimbursement from Amazon, right? I can even go ahead and see in March, I have stuff reimbursed by Amazon. I had some warehouse damage. Maybe I want to see what products exactly applied for that. So where did I get the reimbursement from? Or vice versa. If I will see some fees that I overpaid in that specific month, then I will want to analyze that specific month and find those products. So and maybe try to avoid that in the future. And the next thing when I'm looking at a specific area that I want to dig deeper into and maybe find the products that generated, some losses for me, then what I want to do is access the trends view, because the trends view gives you the option to analyze specific metrics on a product level. So if I'm trying to analyze which products like had the highest refunds, for instance, right? I'm selecting the metrics for percentage of refunds, and I'm looking at the products here. I'm looking at the chart that represents the evolution of the refund ratio for the specific product. And I can go ahead and sort out again the table. Maybe I want to look at the absolute value in descending order. So for beginning of December, I'm going to sort out the table by it. And I'm looking at 15%, right, in December, when in November it was only 3% for the product. So I obviously see a spike. I see a trend here, and I don't really like it because, from 3 to 15% in refund ratio is really a lot. So maybe I want to analyze what generated that rise in refunds. Then what I would do normally, I would look into this ASIN. Let's copy that and try to find it over here. I would go back to the tiles view. I would try to search for that ASIN. In the demo account, I'm not sure that I would have that link here, but let's make it. Okay, I will not have that link, but it doesn't matter. Obviously, I would see the product that in the trends view, the product that has that spike, that trend of rising return ratio, then I would find it here. Let's say, for instance, is the first one, or for whatever reason, I don't know, any other product. And then what I would do, I would select the period that I am analyzing for the product when the spike happened and look into the reasons. So I would go to refunds and click here on the reasons for the refund. So over here, I have two reasons indicated by the customers when they asked for the refund. And that would help me understand what exactly should I do about it. If it's a product problem, then maybe I should look at, I don't know, selling the batch through, or kind of try to solve the situation with the supplier. If it's a listing problem, then I should immediately go to listing and try to change the description there, or any way the information is presented. So that's the logic here. I'm analyzing the situation from an account level, then going to a product level, and then trying to dig into the reasons why that happened, right? So there's this vertical option of analyzing data. Last view over here in the profit dashboard is something we introduced recently, and that is the sales and stock map. So here we are looking at how your sales are distributed. If you're working in the US market, then throughout the states. If you're working in the European market, then throughout different countries in EU. And right now it is limited to the US market and European markets, but we will be extending it to other marketplaces as well. So this view will help you kind of get an understanding of where your stock is situated if you click on this radio button, or your sales. So, and then underneath, you will be able to see compiled the numbers regarding the stock and the orders and the sales for each region. So pretty much this is it for the profit dashboard. Sellerboard has to offer much more, basically in different tools that will help you automate some of the processes inside the business, like PPC management, like inventory management, like generating reviews for your products, and then getting some of the money back from Amazon if you get, hit with some of the cases when they lose your inventory, or the customers don't return their refunds to the warehouses, or your fees rise for whatever reason. So we also help with that. And but I think it would be best to maybe do another presentation for the rest of the features, if you agree on that.
Sure, that would be nice. And that's a very insightful session, Alex. Thank you so much for sharing this invaluable knowledge and experience you have with all of us. And thank you so much. This is what I can say. And have a nice day, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarab. Thank you for the invitation. Again, it was a pleasure.
I hope you have gained actionable insights that you can immediately implement in your Amazon selling journey. Remember, understanding these profit killers is not just about avoiding losses. It's about strategically positioning your business for sustainable growth and success. If you found value in this episode, please take a moment to subscribe to Amazing Marketer channel. And if you have any doubt related to Amazon business, then you can book a one-on-one consultation with me. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos. And finally, keep selling, keep smiling.